G'day there guys, still scared to turn off the lights at night and walk back to my room? It's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now if you love all of today's bloody good content, I want you to subscribe if you haven't already, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good content. Thank you. Posted by user Throwaway Auburn, titled, Am I the a-hole for asking my daughter if she was imagining her symptoms? 2 years ago, my ex-wife and I were going through a divorce that was made tough by the fact that our son, then 15, was dying of a brain tumor. I noticed that my daughter, 16 female, has started eating a lot more during that time, always very late at night, but I was too occupied with dealing with my soon-to-be ex always yelling at me, saying I wasn't doing enough to be there for her emotionally, accusing me of abandonment and withholding affection, for me to realize that my daughter was also going to the bathroom to throw the food up that she ate. After the dust from the divorce cleared up, I found out about my daughter's bulimia from my ex-wife. My daughter told me she felt like her mind at times compels her to feel like she needs more and more food. After the talk and time had passed with my daughter adjusting to her new normal, I thought that she wasn't throwing up anymore. However, in the past few months, my daughter had admitted to feeling stressed because her mother was crying every day because they were approaching what would have been her brother's 18th birthday. My ex has also been stressed about her underwater mortgage. Yesterday, my fiancé and I had driven up to her vacation home for our planned Valentine's Day staycation. I get a call from my ex-wife saying that my daughter has been suffering from heart palpitations and was feeling faint, so she was admitted to the hospital. A few hours later, my daughter called and talked to me about her symptoms over the phone, saying she felt she was having a heart attack and said that she had started binging and purging again recently. A lot of the symptoms she was talking about I thought could have been also caused by an uptick in negative emotions. My daughter was bulimic before the past couple of months, and she herself said a lot of her physical needs came from her mind first. My daughter then asked if I could come see her soon, and I reminded her that I had planned this with my fiancé for a while now. My daughter sounded upset and said she really wanted me here, and I was suspicious that she subconsciously wanted to sabotage any plans I had because she was in an emotional roller coaster over her late brother's upcoming 18th birthday. I asked my daughter if she by any chance was imagining all her symptoms. I reminded her that she had admitted to needing to eat before realizing it was all in her head, and asked if this was another stunt her mind was pulling. My daughter got mad and said she literally nearly fainted and said she couldn't believe I thought she was faking. She then hung up on me. Later, my ex-wife said the hospital recommended her to a bulimia treatment program, and doctors said she risked cardiac arrest if she continued her habits. Am I the a-hole for being suspicious that my daughter was just jealous of my current happiness and trying to get attention for it? From the literature on eating disorders, I saw part of it was about attention. I myself don't know too much about the literature on eating disorders myself, but I'm pretty sure it's a big stretch to say the attention in this case is her being jealous of your current happiness. That's a ridiculously narcissistic way to view it that puts yourself above the mental state of your daughter, who is quite obviously suffering, and you've swept her under the rug. Why would she maliciously want to sabotage your happiness here? How is her asking for help and advice, when you yourself have said that those are symptoms of cardiac arrest, an attack on your happiness? What reality are you living in? Yes, you're the a-hole for asking your daughter if she was imagining symptoms. It seems like your goal here is to lose yet another child, and you're well on your way to doing that. What's wrong with you? Now in the comments, you refuse to believe your minor daughter, who said she was feeling ill, who was diagnosed with an eating disorder, and when doctors did confirm she was risking cardiac arrest, you're asking if you were the a-hole, that you think it has to do with your happiness. Yes, you're the a-hole. Eating disorders are the most deadly mental illnesses, due to the heart problems that they cause, and Opie asked if she was imagining her symptoms. Unbelievable. Opie, you're the a-hole. I would add that even if it wasn't a heart attack and it was a panic attack, which can present with similar symptoms, it is a real issue that needs help to address. Cardiac issues are super common with EDs. OP is you're the a-hole. It's nice that the impending anniversary of your son's death did nothing to interfere with your romantic weekend getaway and not being there for your fragile daughter. You're the a-hole. This is where I couldn't believe OP didn't even think about his son. How does that not affect him too? Well, that would be because all of the blood from Father of the Year's head went south to the other head. Posted by user CorrectSkin5151, titled, Am I the a-hole for saying I won't come to my child's birth? So my girlfriend has severe anxiety about everything, but mainly social situations. She's also currently 7 months pregnant with our second child. When she was around 4 months pregnant, she started talking about how she wanted to give birth at home and how much less stressful that environment would be. She claims that all of the nurses at the hospital are rude and give her panic attacks. She also pointed out that because of the pandemic, both her mum and I could be in the room rather than just one of us. I could tell when she was talking about it that she had put a lot of thought into it and was excited about it. It's her choice. Ultimately, I have no say since I can't force her to go to the hospital. I told her while it's up to her, if she chooses to give birth in our bathtub, I simply cannot support her decision. I told her that I will not be present. Literally anything could go wrong, and I don't want to be a witness to it. Her mum thinks she's being silly as well, but is going to be present. My girlfriend is very angry with me and is being really quiet. She says that I should just support her, but I'm not going to blindly support her awful choices. Am I the a-hole here? You both have valid reasons for sticking to the plans you want in this situation. Obviously, you can't force her to go to the hospital, regardless of it being in her best interests, and she can't force you to watch the birth of your child and be there to support her emotionally. Both of these choices are free to be criticized and should be something agreed on by couples going through these things. She can't agree on hospital, so you can't agree to be there to support her. I would say her crime is the lesser of two evils, as it's expected of you normally to be there for your partner to support them through this, albeit I would also argue yours is the lesser of two, since it puts her and your baby at higher risk of complications and possible death. I don't know, man. This one just sucks all around. Everyone sucks here. Now in the comments, Embarrassed Strain 4 says, Everyone sucks here. OP has stated that girlfriend plans on having zero professional help for this birth, and only family members will be present. OP, you need to be there, and you need to hire a midwife or nurse that knows what they're doing for this home birth. It would be incredibly irresponsible for you not to do these things. Your girlfriend is being unreasonable by not wanting professional assistance with this birth. However, it's her choice whether to do it at home or a hospital. You can't force her hand there. If there will be zero professional help present, then absolutely everyone sucks here. OP needs to make sure his girlfriend and partner are in suitable hands. As someone who has been through labor, no medic or midwife present is just ludicrous and dangerous. OP should make this very clear. Info: will there be any professionals present to help with the birth? If so, and if they're prepared for anything that can happen, then you needn't be worried about it. You do have a right to give input here since it's your child too. That said, not all fathers relish the idea of witnessing births, and if it gives you the willies, then it really wouldn't serve any purpose for you to be there. OP replies, she's so anxious that she doesn't even want a midwife there. Edit, I will say though, her mum is a former nurse, but she wasn't an L&D nurse. I feel like people don't realize how dangerous giving birth is. Everything seemed fine during my son's birth, until I passed out 2 hours later. Come to find out, I'd hemorrhaged. I would be dead if I hadn't been at the hospital. She absolutely needs some kind of professional there. My son was born having a seizure and not breathing. Not a good combo outside of a hospital. My son-in-law had not one, but 2 home births. Both had midwives and midwife assistants, specialized birthing tubs, and they were 5 to 7 minutes from a hospital. Both my nieces were born healthy. My next-door neighbor has had 4 unassisted home births. 2 of them ended in babies born in ambulances rushing to the ER. One of those births triggered a call from CPS, and she's lucky. Unassisted home births can lead to tragedy. Google can give you specific stories. They're heartbreaking. I really want to say everyone sucks here, but I can't. As a mother of 3, you are not the a-hole. This is her second baby. She should know plans go astray when kids are involved, and pregnancy can seem risk-free, but can change in a heartbeat. She is being irresponsible with her and her child's life. To all those who said you're the a-hole, guys, have you ever thought what would happen if there was a serious complication and their firstborn sees it? Childbirth is natural, but also very bloody. Women and babies still die in childbirth, and this woman doesn't want any medical help. You need to contact her midwife. She needs counseling ASAP. She needs help. Chin up and hopefully things will get better. Posted by user Clockwork Apples. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not changing my daughter's name? So my 32 male wife, 30 female, gave birth to our first child 2 weeks ago. We struggled coming up with names throughout the pregnancy and didn't have a name yet when she was born. My wife's sister, 27 female, and her husband came to visit us and the baby, so we asked her for name suggestions since she was usually good at this type of stuff. She said she had a list of names picked out since she was a teenager and told us some of the names on her list. One of them was Freya, which we really loved. We asked her if we could use it, and she was a little hesitant at first, but since she wasn't planning on having children soon, she said that we could have it, and she would probably come up with more names later. A couple days ago, my wife's sister found out she was pregnant. We were really happy for her, but then she came over to talk and asked us to change our daughter's name because she wanted to use it for her baby. We've been calling my daughter Freya for the last week and a half, and we already feel pretty attached to the name. Plus, she already said that we could take it. So we asked her if she could just use a different name, and she got mad and said she had the name picked out since she was 15. We feel kinda bad, but she doesn't even know if the baby will be a girl. Are we the a-holes here? This is a case of too little too late. Sure, an argument could be made for everyone sucks here, but I don't buy that. It's unreasonable to ask parents to change the name of their baby when it's already born. That one's already set in stone, and would just breed more resentment if they were to agree and change it. Sure, she's held onto it since she was 15, but that's her fault for sharing and agreeing on the passing over of the name that those two wanted for their child. Yes, that's a dick move to say, but it really is her fault. It's too late to reverse that decision, especially when she doesn't know the gender of her own baby. Not the a-hole OP. Now in the comments, Rit says, Everyone sucks here. You knew she really wanted that name. She was a fool for telling you the name she loves. If the baby is already born, it's unreasonable to ask you to change her name now. I'd agree if they were both talking about names they will name their future child, but OP said they liked that name and asked if they could use it, and were told yes. Having to change names after a baby is born and you've already grown attached to it is vastly different. She was pressured though. OP points out she hesitated, and she wasn't giving out those names as suggestions. It sounds like she was just sharing her personal list and not actually giving suggestions. OP crossed a social line by asking if they could use it at all, in my opinion. I worry that the sister is a bit of a pushover and is used to having her family push her for things she doesn't want to give or do. Just the impression I got anyway. Everyone sucks here. She did give you permission, but you admitted hesitantly. There were other Freyas in the world before your daughter was born, and there will be many more after. Your sister-in-law should just name her daughter Freya anyway, and when the cousins asks why they have the same name, you can tell them because you liked the same name. Her aunt told you it was her favorite. I disagree. The sister-in-law knew they were looking at names for the baby and showed them her list. She knew there were names on that list that she was attached to, so shouldn't have offered the list up at all if she didn't want them used. Not the a-hole. Obviously not the a-hole. If she wants to use it that badly, then when the baby comes, if it's still appropriate, she can use the name Freya too. The cousins will have a close bond over their shared names. Italian and Irish and Greek and other families do it all the time. I wish I could post the My Big Fat Greek wedding clip of all the cousins named Nick. Not the a-hole. Changing a name after the baby is born is an ordeal. If she feels that strongly about it, it's not that big of a deal to have 2 kids in the family with the same name. Posted by user The Depression of Trees. Titled, Am I the a-hole for screaming at my parents when they went through my phone while I was asleep? This happened this morning, and I am still shaking with rage. Let's begin with some backstory. I was planning on moving out into an apartment in February of 2020. Then the pandemic hit, and I was no longer able to move out due to the quarantine. Once the major quarantine was lifted, and we were able to go outside again, I still couldn't move out because my mother is severely immunocompromised. If she got the COVID, it would be a death sentence. So I was basically stuck at home, doing the majority of the housework and anything I could do to help. I typically do about 5 to 6 hours physical labor daily. Another thing you should know about me is that I'm transgender and was in the closet until about 3 months ago. I was outed by my piece of crap brother. For about 2 months, my parents bordered on abusive. They would use slurs towards me and do their best to make me feel like crap. After I went to my therapist for help and she talked to them, they were no longer abusive, but still very unsupportive. I use Reddit on my phone, and I'm on several LGBT meme subreddits, and I download any memes that make me laugh, so I can send them to my friends. I keep my phone password protected, but haven't updated it in a while. This morning, I woke up, reached for my phone, and it wasn't there. I left my room and asked my parents if they'd seen my phone. They said that they had it. When I asked why, they said, "We were looking for any contraband." I asked them what they meant by contraband. They responded with, "Anything that doesn't fit with our values," and that they'd found what I was hiding. I was starting to get angry, so I asked what they'd found. They told me, "We found things of an unholy nature, unsuitable for the eyes of any of God's children." It was my memes. They started to chew me out for having content of an evil nature and that there will be serious consequences. I was seriously pissed off. They had come into my room while I was sleeping, taken my phone, cracked the passcode, looked through my photos, messages, and everything else. 3 months of anger at how they'd treated me exploded. I started screaming about how they were unfit to be parents, how I wish that they had died, how they'd made my life hell for months, how I have trust issues and PTSD from how they'd treated me as a child, how they hurt me and broken me. I screamed for about 10 minutes, and when I was done, my mom started crying. She tried to explain herself, and I told her to shove her excuses up her ass. I think I might have gone too far, but I was so angry that I didn't care. Well, Reddit, am I the a-hole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I might have gone too far with my criticism and anger at my parents. I might have said some stuff that I really shouldn't have. I don't think there's anything you could have said in this situation that wasn't warranted after what they've put you through. This last year has been hard enough as is without them making it even more of a struggle, and now outright attacking you for the way that you are and what makes you happy. I don't have all too much to say besides get out of there as soon as you can. It's not a safe environment for you, as these situations just escalate the longer they go on. Not the a-hole. Now in the comments, Engineering Own 2299 says, "Not the a-hole. 5 to 6 hours physical labor daily? How frickin' messy is your house that this is a daily occurrence?" Very, very messy. My father is basically a hoarder, and my mother is allergic to dust. That means dusting and vacuuming every day. We're always looking for more storage space, so I build bookshelves. My mother's vision is failing, so we install new sources of light about every week. Plus, we have a garden that needs raking, weeding, mulching, shoveling snow, etc. Not the a-hole. Your parents need a nursing home, not a live-in slave they can abuse. And don't worry about the pandemic. If you leave and don't go back, you won't have to worry about giving your mother the virus. Not the a-hole. Don't believe the crying. Sending good vibes with the hope that you can move out soon. Thank you. I'm hoping to get out of here as soon as I have the chance. Just go. You said you were planning on it before. Your parents would have to take care of themselves before, and they will figure out what to do after you leave. Agreed. Just do it. Your parents have given you no courtesy. You don't need to give them any. I'm sure you can find a way to safely move out. Do it ASAP. Not the a-hole, and you need to go ahead and move out. I'm sorry that your parents aren't accepting you for who you are. As a Christian, I believe we're all children of God, and He made you exactly the way you are, and you deserve to be loved for who you are. Separate yourself from this situation as soon as humanly possible, even if it means going to stay with friends until an apartment is ready. Big hugs to you. G'day there guys, and that's the end of today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed it and were entertained by today's bloody good content. As always, I want to do a quick shout out and a thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your beautiful faces and names will be up on screen right now. Haven't forgot about you guys, sorry I was taking a little break there. So yeah, if you see yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. If you want to be on this screen, there's links down to the description below where you can sign up and help support the channel and all future projects that I'm going to be doing on this one. With all that said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I'll see you in the next episode, and I do hope you enjoy it. Thank you.